Yes, right. Let's do a recap of where we're at so far in the narrative of this for anyone who's either forgotten what's happened or is jumping in and hasn't caught up on all the streams. So, we're playing as Alex, a bisexual 21-year-old who has, been bouncing around the foster system for years. Her brother tracked her down. Eventually, they were separated in the system many years ago and was like, hey, if you don't have anywhere particular to be, come stay with me in my little remote mining town up in the mountains. It's a lovely little community. It'd be really nice to sort of live near each other. It's a mining community, as I said, and the first night that Alex is here, this little kid runs off into the mountains on the night that there's a scheduled explosion due to go off. Alex and her brother Gabe go off up into the mountain to rescue this kid, and the brother, Gabe, calls the mountain mining company and goes, hey, we're up on the mountain, there's a kid up on the mountain, don't do the explosion. And they say back, yeah, sure, we won't do the explosion tonight. And then they still do the explosion, and Gabe dies in the process. Very quickly, we get a lot of questions raised, like, hey, didn't we call you and you agreed not to do the explosion? And the mining company's like, nope, never got a call, never happened. We ended up finding that the person who took the call was threatened, blackmailed, intimidated by the mining company into not telling anyone. Intimidation and fear stopped him from speaking up. We then started investigating the mining company executives, and basically we managed to find evidence. We stole a USB stick that had recordings of basically phone calls between the mining company and various people. There was evidence on there that they did knowingly go ahead with the explosion, that they did receive the call. All of that, very important stuff. We had all of the evidence to go, the mining company deliberately did that explosion knowing we were up there. The reason being that they were trying to cover up a second explosion. Saint Nobody, thank you very much for the 7 months of sub. So to go into a little bit of specifics, there was an inspection due to happen in the mine, and they wanted to cover up something. So they have to schedule all their explosions, and to not make it obvious they were hiding something, they were like, we need to, we'll do our actual explosion and a secret other explosion to cover something up. And they couldn't put it off because otherwise the inspectors would come and find whatever it was. So, big old cover-up conspiracy. Beyond that, we go and take this USB stick and we're like, hey, we'll go take it to the cops. We've got evidence that they have done a big crime. Because this was not in our choice as players. Our main character is like, I can trust the cops to do the right thing. They could not trust the cops to do the right thing. We got threatened with arrest and potentially a felony for stealing an electronic device and company secrets. We did use our magical powers. Oh, by the way, the main character's got magical powers to interact with emotions and stuff. To take away the cop's fear. The cop was scared for what would happen to us if we stood up to the mining company. He tried to get us to sign an affidavit saying, nope, the mining company is not responsible at all for the death, so that the mining company would let us off and not come after us. And he was terrified, and we took away his fear and tried to convince him to do the right thing, and we left that with him saying, I'll think about it. So that's sort of almost where we left. At that point, end of the episode, we're living above this bar, and the bar owner, calls. We go down and chat with the bar owner, and we decide to open up to him and go, hey, look, you saw me get arrested, this is what it's about. The mining company have been covering something up, it's dangerous, they killed Gabe. And the mining company guy's like, hey, I know what they're covering up, I'll show you. And he doesn't show us. He fires a gun at us and we fall down a mine shaft after being shot. And that's where we last left off, is trusted, lovely Jed, the bar owner who has been nothing but a delight, shooting us and letting us fall to our presumable deaths down a mine shaft. So that's where we're at. Let's get into the final episode. Yeah, I hope that was a good recap. I think I did alright. I think I hit all the plot critical stuff.
Welcome back, Alex.
Hi.
Do you want to talk about your time in Colorado?
So, Haven Springs...
Let's start with something positive. What did you learn from your visit to Haven Springs?
This sure implies that she survived. Oh yeah, if you're watching in chat on, say, PC, you should have a little pop-up that lets you vote on some of these choices. What did we learn from our time in Haven Springs, that lovely little community that apparently we survived because we're here talking? The meaning of home, not to be afraid of emotions. Did you learn nothing? Let's see, we got votes closing now. Yeah, the votes will close a second or two before you see them close because of delay.
I learned to let myself feel, I guess. And to
Yeah,
not
never trust
be afraid of those
innkeepers.
feelings.
Couldn't one argue that those old fears turned out to be justified?
Yeah, we did learn ACAB,
What
Kajira.
do you make of that friction?
Gumba Master, the next thing I will probably be streaming is... Later this week I want to do a Deltarune Chapter 2 stream. I don't know what day of the week, maybe...
I suppose I'm proud of you for trying.
This week's busy. When I have a chance, I want
You
to stream
helped some
Deltarune.
people. Chased a mystery. Got to kiss a pretty girl.
We did get to kiss a pretty girl.
But Alex, you're right back where you started.
Am I? You're wrong. I'm gonna... Maybe it's God,
You're
maybe
wrong.
this is...
I don't belong in here.
God, I don't belong in the
If that
foster
was
system
true,
afterlife.
Alex, you'd know you were talking to an empty chair.
Yeah. I suspect this isn't just skipping ahead to the post-game. They're gonna really tease us for a little bit with like, hey, you know that whole getting shot and
What
falling down a
the
mine shaft
fuck?
thing? We're not gonna answer that for a bit. Okay, what do we got here? Let's have a look around.
These don't belong to Dr. Lin.
Yeah, I think Dr. Lin, if I remember from a message we got in the first episode, was
Tuning peg.
was a therapist in the foster home, I believe. Take! We'll take the key out of the picture, yeah. There is a little bit of not reality occurring here. I mean, falling down a mine shaft is probably going to give you a little bit of a not quite connected to reality moment, one would imagine. Oh no, it's Alex feeling many emotions.
Is that what I look like? Really? Hey, my guitar. Knock, knock.
Yeah, I want to do a Deltarune stream at some point, but I want to get this out the way before I get lost on something else. Knock, knock, guitar case. Alex?
Alex Chen? My guitar case has never heard of me.
Never heard of her.
Sure.
Oh, Nick at Meta. Yes, hi. My cat is doing wonderfully, and I'm having a good day. I'm glad to be finishing this Life is Strange stream. My last 24 hours has been very chaotic after I made choices in a D&D podcast that people had opinions on. But I'm having a good day.
12 years ago, I made a mistake. The kind of thing that you can't undo.
Alex, you know that I care about you. With everything that has happened, I just want what's best for you.
Yeah, people had opinions about my role-playing choices this weekend, but I think people are coming around. We'll see. Oh, it teleported me to the other side of that chair, so we've got to get to the folder now. What does this say? Oh, yes, we're about to get a flash of light and or a loud sound. I think it's just going to be a bright flash of light for anyone who that'll be a problem for. Oh, XBB, I don't want to get into, like, specifics. 53322.
53322.
53322. Oh yeah, no worries. It'll be lovely to have you on come along for a different stream. It's nice that you popped along. Yes. Yeah, without going into spoilers about Dice Funk, just at 5, 3, 2, 2. Yeah, I gave the go-ahead for a emotionally difficult scene to occur, and I think it's going to do good things for the overall narrative, but people have strong responses to you did a thing that I didn't expect and or didn't want to happen sometimes. So that's the short version. Is I made what I felt was a narratively valid storytelling choice, and we're about to get another flash of bright light for anyone who needs that warned. I'm very proud of what we did for Dice Funk, but it's been a very busy 24 hours with that. Oh. Okay, yeah, this seems a bit more like what we should be seeing. Okay, I'm guessing the bullet grazed her head rather than directly hitting it, which I'm guessing means that Jed pulled away a little bit as he did the shot. Like, he wasn't ready to cold-blooded do the kill. Yeah, head wound isn't going to be great. Thankfully, you didn't fall the whole way down the mine shaft, which would have been fatal. But this ain't good. You are... Yeah, because there's lots of wooden slats that'll thankfully break your fall somewhat. You fell quite a long way with a few hits along the way. You're going to be in a rough spot. It's fine, there's a ladder right there. Yeah. I mean, she's remarkably not broken. For now. We'll see. Oh, the Gurkha Man! I could get my hat back on. I didn't know, considering how the last episode ended, I wasn't sure if this was the right emotional tone for cute little rabbit hat. But then again, if we're going to have a sad episode, I might as well, or an emotionally tough episode, I might as well wear the hat. For anyone who hasn't seen, I have a hat with very happy ears, and it's very good.
Gabe?
Oh, hey, it's her brother. Hey, if you fall down a mine shaft after getting shot and then see your dead brother, that's a bad sign.
So, lots of people are dead, Alex.
Story Searcher, thank
Most
you very
people.
much. Thank you very much for the
Where
20
are we?
months of sub. Thank you.
I want to say a hospital.
Dr. Mendez to intensive care. Dr. Mendez to intensive care.
Yep, definitely a hospital.
Gabe.
Okay, here's what I do know. You are 10, I am 14. Our mother is sick.
I mean, yeah, the
There's
fact
a
you're seeing
father,
something might be a good sign,
it's a
but it could
different
also be
kind
a,
of sickness.
a sign you're in the afterlife.
Play your part.
Hey, act out moments from your
Ow.
life.
Gabe, why?
I didn't do anything.
Both of you.
Dad.
Yeah, this is very, life flashing before your eyes. Oops, I'm reliving my life as I potentially am near death. Fun fact, a big theory as to why
Go
the
check on your mother.
life flashing before your eyes and
Okay.
feeling like it's, like... That whole thing when you're near death is because apparently near-death experiences cause your brain to release a flood of DMT, which is a chemical that some people take recreationally as a psychedelic. It
She
massively
was
slows
right
down
over
time
there.
and makes you see a lot of shit in your head.
Mom used to fidget with her keys whenever she was worried.
Okay, content warning for, a character dying of cancer and emotional interactions, surrounding that. Which are going to be a thing for a minute here. But yes, the massive flood of DMT is a common theory as to why it can feel like you're experiencing a whole lot more in that near-death experience than you are. Is because time dilation becomes real big. Yeah, dreams in general mess with your perception of time, but things like the light at the end of the tunnel is apparently a very common DMT response from people. Okay, we're gonna have some loud audio and some bright lights for a second.
Hi, Mom. Mom. Mom.
Such a brave girl. How do you ever get so brave?
Is that how it went? You don't think you missed anything?
The Mudkip gal, I think it's
why?
because
I didn't
she's
do anything.
because of the hair loss. I
Both of
think
you.
it's a hair loss covering.
Behave.
Yeah. A lot of people, particularly a lot of women who have cancer, who lose their hair, will wear hair scarves just to not necessarily want to engage with
Alex,
that.
Go check on your mother.
Apparently we did it wrong. Let's try it again.
Okay.
Yeah. So Gabe there was saying, like, hey, you walked in, your mum was like, oh, you're so brave. Are you sure that that's all that happened?
Did
Or
I miss something?
was there maybe more to that memory than you're letting
No matter
yourself
how much Mom
remember?
drank, her throat was always dry.
The Gurkha Man, I don't know what an NDE is. Oh, near-death experience. I had a near-death experience, but how it was experienced for me was massively impacted by the particular drugs that the NHS gave me while I was unconscious. I was in a road traffic collision when I was 16 there. And a woman in her 80s hit me with a 4x4. She was way overdoing the speed limit, didn't stop at a give way point, just smacked into the side of my motorbike.
Water, Alex. Give her some water.
I was given ketamine as a road trauma painkiller, and that caused me to, instead of having the typical near-death experience, I thought I was trapped forever in an infinite recursion of mirrors, which is apparently something that people who do ketamine recreationally called K-holing, just thinking you're trapped eternally deep down in an eternally deep point. It was an unpleasant experience. Okay, loud volume and brightness again. I didn't sue her. I was fine in the end. Her insurance covered the replacement of the bike and a bit on top of that, and it was fine. But
Thank you.
it wasn't worth making a bigger deal out of. I turned out fine.
You almost never cried.
Yeah, the NHS K-holed me without explaining what had happened. I thought that's what death was for a long time.
Did you know that? That's been my biggest challenge with you. How do you take care of someone who is already so strong?
How do you take care of a kid who has grown up too fast and won't, and feels like they can't accept help? I think that's what you're asking, Mum. Because no 10-year-old should be that strong, and if they are, it's probably because trauma, and they've had to become strong. Like, your kid probably didn't feel like they could rely on you to keep him safe.
No tears, my strong girl.
Don't ever tell someone they can't cry in a moment like this.
I want you to make me a promise.
Telling someone in their most vulnerable moment to be strong just tells them to emotionally close themselves
Your
off.
father. They are going to need you. You have to be strong.
Don't put the responsibility for for the older brother and the dad and keeping them emotionally healthy on the 10-year-old youngest daughter. Don't do that, Mum. That's fucked up. Yeah, the Mudkip gal, it definitely seems like she has a bad relationship with her father from the pictures.
Brave girl. How do you ever get so brave?
Yeah. Shit like this in your formative years when you're, that young, really can fuck up how you process emotions. Like, oops, I'm not allowed to have emotions. Yeah, there was something Steph said in the last episode when we were about to kiss on the roof where she was like, you always care so much about other people's feelings. It's time someone did something nice for you and looked after yours, or it's time you thought about your own feelings. It's like, yeah. Also, Mudkip, yeah, I think this is where she started to realise her powers was, oops. Intense grief from myself. Bottle that up. Oh, where are we now? Oh, XBB, I know that what she's saying, what she means is remain functional, but when you say your brother and your dad are going to need you, you have to stay strong for them. After saying don't cry, be strong, that implies crying is not being strength, and if you cry, you're not being stronger for your older relatives, and that's a lot of pressure to put on a kid. Okay, Weary Wolfkins, thank you very much for the 18 months of sub. I'm going to give folks a content warning for this scene, but I'm also going to tell people about a piece of licensed music that isn't going to play because we've got streamer mode on. And I suspect this scene is going to be more difficult without the licensed music.
Was that the last time you talked
because
to
the
her?
licensed music is explicitly there to muffle and drown out some of the upsetting content.
I think so.
Drakir, I think this is possibly it's definitely one of my favourite Life is Strange games.
What's going on?
Okay, I'm just going to give folks a heads up for this scene, because I think this scene might actively be more upsetting than it needs to be because of the fact that we aren't going to have licensed music. The short version is that Alex's brother and her dad are about to have some pretty heated, upsetting, distressing arguments. They're kind of like, they're on the other side of the door and you can't really make out what's being said, but they're very clearly shouting at each other. At which point Alex is going to sit on the floor and try and drown that out by putting on Dido. What's the tears run cold and wondering why got out of bed at all. That Dido song. Picture on my wall, it reminds me that it's not so bad, it's not so bad. Thank You by Dido. Yeah, she tries to drown it out with Thank You by Dido. And without that there, we're gonna have no buffer for what happened, so I feel like it's important to talk about that. So let's get to the scene.
You're 11, I'm almost 15. Dad and I are time bombs. You keep running back and forth, trying to defuse us both.
Gurkhaman, no, she's not listening to Stand by Eminem. It is specifically the original Dido track. But yes, as we get to this scene, it's made clear that Alex
This is
has,
going to suck so bad.
in the years since Mum's death, been basically trying to hold her brother and her father's emotional health together. Which, again, a lot of pressure to put on a 10-year-old kid to have them be responsible for two adults' mental health. Yeah. I do like this use of, it's the character model we know, but things like the little children's toy there to emphasize, like, hey, this is her back in the moment of her younger self. How about this? I will try and get some of the scene under control by singing a bit of Dido as best I can remember it for a second.
There was only ever one thing to do when they got like this. Drown them out and wait for it to pass.
I'm assuming it's not going to play. We'll find out. So far, none of the licensed music has played, but we'll give it a sec. Okay, yeah, this is where we would be having my tears are roll, I'm wondering why I got out of bed at all. Off my window, I can't see it all. And it'd be good if it'd all be great. And a picture on my wall, I remember some of the words to this, some of the words to this. And we can't skip this, so I'm going to keep going. I want to thank you for giving me the best days of my life. Yeah, you see what this scene is meant to be. And that by not putting anything in the subtitles, it's really fucked up the whole tone of this scene.
It's okay, it's just me. But
like,
you know
for
that's
deaf
not how it
users,
went down,
this
right?
scene has a lot less, impact available. Once again, oops, that's not the whole thing. Let's re-experience it and experience the things that Alex tries not to think about in the scene.
It was my job to keep the peace. But no matter what I did...
Yeah. The Gherkin Man, no worries. My apologies. We'll put a message in the chat when this scene is done.
Gabe had barely used this backpack in weeks. Nobody could get him to go to school.
I'm going to do a very small amount of looking around, and then we will sort of...
I always set it here when it was done so he could find it.
Yeah, we'll get a little bit of context, and then we'll get out of this scene when we can.
It was full of greeting cards. Mom kept every single one we ever got. My job was to sort them in order of how close we were to a collections notice. I didn't even know what CPS was. Just that I was afraid of them.
Oh, Drakkar, I'm glad to hear. That's lovely to hear. Yeah.
Gabe used to steal Dad's beer all the time. It was like the one thing they didn't fight about.
There you go. I think that's a good sense of what this scene was, and we can move on from here. So again, this would be, do you want to sit listening to Dido for an amount of time? Up to your choice. There we go. Cool. Oh no, we can't stay here forever. We need to go and deal with Dad and Brother. We can't keep ignoring this. There's going to be a loud bit of volume here.
Where are you going? Are you gonna tell her? Or is that my job?
Keep your voice down.
Fine, I'll do it. Alex, Dad lost his job. Again. So we're broke. Again.
Don't talk to me that way. Despite what you may believe, you do not know everything. You think what? I laid myself off?
It's okay. We'll figure it out. I could,
I don't know, Dad. But what are we supposed to do now? We gotta eat.
we can sell some records. Or what about my guitar? We could sell that.
Alex, what is it gonna take to get you to stop defending him?
She's not defending him. She's trying to keep the family together. She's trying to help.
I'm so tired of you using her as an excuse to be a piece of shit.
She's trying to be constructive. She's trying to do stuff
Piece of shit.
at her own expense
Damn it.
to keep the family together, because that's what she was
I'm
told to
okay.
do.
It's okay. It was an accident.
Alex, I didn't.
Dad, it's okay. Really, I'm not hurt.
It can really fuck you up feeling like you have to be the emotional glue for family. That's not good.
Dad?
Yeah, XBB, it very much mirrors the fight with Mac in the first episode, and I think that's deliberate. I think it is deliberately intended to give some additional emotional context
Someone
to
will come.
when Alex hits Gabe in anger.
Woman
I think
from
it's meant to mirror
CPS.
that.
Someone.
I mean, the Gurkha Man, both can be true.
Dad!
Him not dealing with the wife's death and his lack of money can lead to him behaving in abusive ways. The two can be true.
Dad!
Oh, Thomas Fireheart, thank you very much for the for the raid. Yeah, XBB, I kind of agree with you. I don't think he's intentionally like, I am getting a positive experience out of being abusive as a parent. I think that this is a case of a parent who is overworked, doesn't have enough money to support the kids, is mourning a death he isn't processing properly, and has a kid who is blaming him for how bad everything is going. And I think that has driven him to, for example, from the kitchen, to drink too much. It has driven him to not act properly to drown his emotions, and that is probably impacting his ability to parent his kids in an emotionally and physically healthy way. Yeah, you popped into an emotionally difficult scene. Also, there's going to be a bright flash for a second. The Gurkha Man, you're right that it's tough for a kid to expect you to be perfect, but also, you know, when the kid, you can't afford for your kid to eat, and your kid is becoming a teenager, I can't say I'm surprised. Oh, Tatian BDC. If you saw last stream on Friday, what you've missed is that we're currently going through a bunch of flashbacks as Alex slowly she's got a head injury. The bullet grazed her. She fell about halfway down the shaft before like some of the beams broke her fall, and then she fell a bit further. And we're currently having a bunch of flashbacks, which have basically boiled down to Mum was dying of cancer and told her, like, hey, you've got to be strong. You've got to emotionally hold your brother and your dad together.
Which orphanage is this?
That kind of fucked her
The one in
up.
Grant Park?
And Dad walked out, and that kind of fucked her
I
up.
thought it'd be nicer.
I can't do this, okay?
But yeah, that's where we're
I
at.
can't.
You need to.
No,
You need to be honest about what you see.
I was. I have. And now I'm done.
Almost. But not yet. You were 12, I am 16. I steal a car and end up in juvie.
Gabe, come
Yeah,
on.
this is how they ended up
Then you're
separated.
13, 14, 15. Orphanages, group homes, musty rooms in the strange houses of foster parents. By the time you're 17, you've seen them all.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty clear
Somewhere
Gabe
along
is
the
being,
line,
like, some
you start to
internal
feel
part of
things.
her here.
Your own emotions don't belong to you. You have nothing. No one. You are alone.
I mean, it's pretty clear that Gabe
I don't
isn't the
want
real
this.
Gabe. I mean, unless you want to
Alex.
think this is a near-death experience and you believe in an afterlife, and maybe this is Gabe doing
Play your part.
a ghost journey. I suppose that's no more unreasonable a thought than psychic
Play my
ghost
part.
magic. You know. So yeah, this is the foster home. I'm going to give a content warning in a minute for children feeling unwanted because of their mental health. I think is the best way to put it.
They used to say this place wasn't a prison.
Or maybe they were trying to keep you safe.
Guess so. Whatever the reason, I took a fork in here one time and hid it under my
Yep, no worries,
mattress.
Gurkha Man. I'll let you know in chat
Just
when this scene is
'cause
done.
fuck you.
The episode will be a lot easier after we get through this scene. Yep.
Well, there are my strings. Where's my guitar?
Okay, we're gonna have a loud sound here, and a flash of light. Yeah, Gajira, I think that's what she's working towards, is like, hey, there's a lot of things that are outside of your control, and you can't be responsible for everyone else. Even if you are hyper-vigilant and know exactly what the adults in your life are thinking and feeling, that doesn't mean that you are responsible for fixing those things. It's not your fault.
She's been through so much. I just don't know if we're prepared for a troubled girl.
Thomas Fireheart, the game does not come with any warnings for the difficult content. If this is made by a studio called Deck 9, and one of the criticisms I've made of this is that Don't Nod, who were the original studio who've stopped doing Life is Strange, and they're now they most recently did Tell Me Why. Don't Nod are very good about content warnings in advance. They put content warnings up with full spoilers 6 weeks before Tell Me Why came out. This has absolutely zero of them, and that's a real shame. It's a lesson that I think they definitely could have done to have learnt from Don't Nod.
It says here she's sensitive. What does that mean?
I wonder why she's never found a home before. I'm sure she's a sweet girl, but she's not for us.
She's awfully old, isn't she?
This is the kid that's been in all those fights.
I mean, XBB, if you go check out my YouTube, I have a full video on content warnings and where I think they are and are not appropriate and how to implement them. It's probably a better answer than I can give here.
Wrong.
With her.
Yeah, there is only so long you can bottle up feeling broken and responsible for things. Yeah, I'm gonna stop and do a little bit of, like, story time for a minute. I found this whole story really impactful, and I think a big part of that for me personally is that, how do I put this? I, a few times growing up, had my biological father put some shit on me that, like, was not in my control and made me feel like I was responsible for those things. Like, a gentle one I can talk about, in the relative sense, my biological dad left my mum when I was like 2. He cheated on my mum. And at one point in my childhood, he told me that it was my fault that he had cheated on my mum and that our family had broken apart. Because as a child, I didn't sleep and I screamed all the time, probably because I was undiagnosed autistic. But the constant screaming and the not sleeping apparently, was ruining their relationship, and it's why he had to cheat on my mum. And that was definitely my fault. And, like, shit like that. It's really easy to internalize things that happen... bad things happening with the adults around you in your childhood and go, that's my fault. And I can really fucking empathize with Alex as a character of being like, Mum told me to keep Dad and Brother safe. Dad and Brother didn't stay safe. I tried so hard, but Brother ended up in juvie, Dad ended up walking out. That's my fault. Of course none of these adults want to adopt or foster me. I'm broken, I'm not good enough. I need to bottle up my emotions because that's what Mum said to do that would have kept them together. If I bottled up my emotions better, maybe Dad and Brother would have stuck around. Like, I think there's a very real thing going on here.
I'm sorry.
Why?
You need to see it.
See what?
Taking a little selfie for Steph.
That nobody picked me?
Nobody picked you. Nobody picked you. Nobody wanted you. Mom died. Dad left. I bailed. You couldn't keep us together.
It was my job to keep us.
You were 11 years old.
This conversation...
You were 11 years old. You were a kid.
This conversation was basically the most important conversation I ever had with my therapist. Was an equivalent of this. It's like, hey, you were a fucking child. It was not your responsibility to
sometimes it's a big
fix every adult in your life.
Make it better.
You know.
Be angry at Dad. Miss Mom. Hell, be angry at me. But don't give up. No one gets to tell you what you're worth. And no one can take your life away. Fight.
Like,
I'm not sure
You have a gift. It's something you don't even understand. You can change the world. Make it better. Now get up.
Yeah.
What?
Get up and fight.
Yeah, some of this stuff could definitely do with just, at the very least, a heads up to know whether it's going to be for you or not. Like, I remember playing through the Adventures of Captain Spirit, another Don't Nod one a few years ago, with my lovely wife Jane, and we had to turn it off because there was some stuff particularly to do with drunk parental abuse that was a bit too close to home, and it just wasn't, like, enjoyable to go through, and it wasn't for them. And it's like, yeah, that's fair. A heads up in advance would have helped making that decision, a more informed choice you could make. Oh, hey, Alex is alive. That's good. Sorry, it's all been a bit heavy. Here we go. It's all good. Yeah, so to the people saying how is she not dead, As we sort of got demonstrated earlier, there's a lot of intersecting wooden beams going down the mine, and the implication is she kept falling small distances, hitting wood, small distance hit wood, small distance hit wood. Lots of intermittent breaking of falls so that she can never build up too much momentum, but a lot of small to, like, a lot of medium-sized blunt injuries. Survivable, but not pleasantly survivable. Also, it's fiction. Let's have a bit of suspension of disbelief and whatnot. Also, it's that one last match from her brother's personal effects. Yeah, Glass is going to have plot armor. But as you'll see in a second once we start moving, like, I don't... They do a good job of being like, oh, she is actually quite injured, and they don't just, like, have her walk it off after 2 seconds. They don't just instantly go, yep, she's fine now.
Mines growing into mines, just like Jed said. I could almost laugh, if it wouldn't hurt so much. How long has this stuff been down here?
Take the pickaxe with you. It'll be a useful cane if you need it, if you need a walking stick. And you can defend yourself against, you know, evil mine monsters, if there's any of them down here. Is that what they're trying to hide? The evil cave monsters. Yeah, xenomorphs. You can fight with a xenomorph with a pickaxe, right? Okay, there's going to be loud volume and a bright flash.
Oh, no. No. Come on, no.
Or
No.
bright light. I don't believe there's going to be a jump scare here.
I can do this. I can do this. Okay, that's something.
Oh, there's some bad angry energy down here. That's big angry energy. I mean, it could be something literally glowing down the mine, but I think it's emotion power or
Held average for life, huh, Jed?
Dig so deep, we see where the devil sleeps.
Kirby the Dragon, their power is that they can feel other people's emotions and sometimes read minds about that, but the emotions have, like, a colourful glow to them, and as such, that's what's creating the light, is there is a very strong, angry emotion down here.
Goddamn right!
This is it. This is what Typhon tried to bury.
A lot of runoff moisture in this soil. Jed, we gotta call it. This dig is fucked.
Yeah,
Nothing's fucked.
Jed talked about doing something unforgivable before he shot us.
My teams have never quit a dig this deep before. We finish the job.
Yeah, so for anyone who jumped in late or doesn't remember, there was a whole thing where Jed is talked about as being the hero of the town. He rescued a bunch of people from a mine disaster, apparently. Got them all out okay. The mining company gave him the bar afterwards. But yes, he's always talked about as being the hero of the town when the big mine collapse happened. Yes, and before he shot us and pushed us down the mine, he said the secret is he did something unforgivable. Yeah, we're back in reality now. We're wandering around the mine.
Steady goes. Steady.
fuck was...
Move! Come on! Clear the tunnel!
Who's on radio?
Jed!
Fuck!
Jed! Jed!
Oh my god.
We gotta move! Now! There's still men back there. They'll drown.
Yeah, and so will we if we don't get the fuck out! Make the call, Jed!
God damn it! God damn it! Everyone, let's go! Now!
Yeah. So yeah, maybe he's not so much the hero.
Must be where Typhon blew
Maybe
the
it's a little
charges.
more that he kind of caused the problem, and the deaths that did happen were his fault, and he wanted to cover that up and be a hero. A little bit. Oh yeah, Gurkha Man, just to fill you in, we followed a spooky aura down the mine, and it turns out that Jed may not have been the hero of the town in the mine explosion, but might have caused a lot of deaths and hidden them. Oh shit.
Dad.
Her dad worked down in this mine. Her dad died down here. As did many other miners that the mining company and Jed covered up.
Jed! Come back! Jed, you son of a bitch!
Jed, you gotta stop, man.
Jed! Fuck you, Jed! Come back!
It's over, Jen. He's not coming back.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
He left men down there to die and was happy to pretend that those people never died. Say it was a freak accident, everyone got out alive, he's a hero, rather than, no, I was responsible, I should have evacuated people, I chose not to. And people died because of my choices, and yeah. I'm trying to think if there's a narrative reason that we know of why Gabe ended up in this town. Like, if he ended up here because of... Because I know that Jed was very, very, very accommodating to Gabe. Like, kept him close, gave him a place to stay when he arrived. And I wonder if he did that because he knows you're the kid of one of those people who are killed. Yeah, Kirby the Dragon, the visual quality of this is really nice. The facial animations have been really good. It's a nice visual step up for the series.
And during my time here, I've come to realize what makes Haven so special.
Yeah, the faces are real good.
It's a flower shop run by multiple generations. A bar owner who greets every customer by name.
So yeah, this is Diane. She runs she works at the mining company. There's a big thing about trying to renew the contract between the town and the mining company going on at the moment. Like, they're trying to renew a big contract to keep working together. That's what this meeting's about.
It's a spring festival tradition going back 100 years.
Oh,
History,
Ducky!
loyalty, pride.
Come on, please tell me Ducky's
Values
gonna believe us this
which
time.
define Haven are the same values that Typhon was built on. And that is why our partnership has been so successful. It's been my privilege to renew Typhon's commitment to Haven. We believe in this community, and we're tremendously excited for its future.
Thank you, Diane.
Oh,
I think I speak for all of us when I say
this
we're
whole
eager to make
this whole
official.
rest of the episode is fucking
So,
amazing.
time to
I
vote,
hope you're
folks.
ready for it.
And then lunch.
Ginger Lion dude, I think the justification is it's a lot of people who couldn't find work elsewhere, a lot of immigrants, a lot of people who could somewhat disappear off the map relatively easily. Like, Mr. Chen is a good example of someone who had run away from his life, was struggling to keep jobs, struggling to keep a roof over his head, might be the kind of person who would accept a dangerous job in a mine that wasn't particularly above board. Like, that's the assumption I have about why, yeah, if that makes sense. Oh, look at that fucking look on his face. Hey, Jed. Did you have fun trying to kill me?
Alex! Oh my god! I'm fine. You are not fine. We have to get you to a doctor.
What happened to you?
Oh, Jed is the mine owner who may have let a bunch of people die and tried to cover it up and then tried to kill us when we worked out what he was up to.
I found out something you need to hear. I'm sorry.
What?
Alex, you're hurt.
Yeah, former foreman, now bar owner. So, are you ready for some choices, chat?
Typhon's been lying to all of you.
I love watching these two.
And so has Jed Lucan.
I love watching Jed and is it Sylvia? I love watching them lie through their teeth. Like, fuck, watch this man lie straight to our face.
Fuck you.
Yeah, he got this.
What the hell happened?
He got this bar on paper as a reward for his
in the mine
valor
last
saving
night.
everyone, but actually
I saw what
for
Typhon's been
agreeing to
hiding
the
for
cover
12
up.
years. Jed Lucan isn't a hero. That whole
Oh no,
story
XBB,
is
there's
a
going to be
lie.
choices to make here.
Jed caused the accident. And then he abandoned 7 of his men. He let them drown to save himself. There were pictures of me and Gabe down there in the dirt. Because one of those miners was my father. Typhon wanted to keep this covered up in case it jeopardized the vote.
Yeah.
All they care about is making more money. They'll do whatever it takes to push this expansion through. So they decided to bury the evidence. And nothing was going to stop that blast. Not even the fact that there were 4 people up in the mountains.
The acting is so
That's
good.
how Gabe was killed. Jed knew all along. He covered up the truth about the past, about Gabe. And when I found out, as you can see, he tried to kill me too. Why aren't any of you saying anything?
We don't want to embarrass you, Alex.
Try me.
These accusations are... well, they're insane.
Hopefully
And
the...
trying to go into the mine was obviously a very dangerous...
We
very
really have to
illegal
hope that
thing
the
to
cop
do.
fucking stands up and backs us up, because
But we
he
all
holds
sympathize
the
with your
evidence right now.
situation. You've been through so much. Your brother was your only family, wasn't he? I can only imagine how much you want an explanation for his loss. Something to give you comfort and make your life seem less unfair.
Why don't you just
Their
tell the
corporate
truth?
speak is so perfectly
You've been
handled.
planning your exit from Typhon anyway.
What?
You never signed up for threats or attempted murder. You hate this. Now's your chance to stop.
Dad? Do you have any idea what Alex is talking about?
No. I don't. I've tried to be there for Alex since Gabe died. I thought, I don't know, I hoped I could be something of a father figure to her.
Fuck off. Fuck you.
All I can guess is, sometimes when we're hurting, the people we lash out at are the ones who are trying to help.
Jed is such a fucking hateable villain. I love it. Oh. Chat, what do we say? You're lying or you're a monster? What do you vote, chat? I don't have a say in this. This is all up to you. Oh. You're a monster. Yeah, that's probably what I would have gone for. Fucking get that guilt going to him.
How can you stand there and say these things?
Alex.
You're a monster. Please. I know this is hard to accept. You all trust him. I did too. But I'm telling the truth.
I believe you. Of
Come
course
on.
I do.
I'm glad that Steph does. So, genuinely, like, who does or does not believe you is completely up for debate. And it depends. It depends how you've acted through all of the prior episodes with various characters.
And shocked and still processing everything, but I believe you.
I would like to speak.
Come on, please support me, Ducky. He didn't support me in my first
came to
playthrough.
Haven as a stranger, but over the last few weeks,
Ducky was the one
she's
that
become
hurt
one
most
of
when he
us.
didn't believe me in my own playthrough.
Her story certainly seems
Oh, thank God.
unlikely,
Come on, Ducky.
if not impossible. But she deserves at least an investigation.
Oh,
of her
Ducky,
claims.
MVP, thank you.
We ought to take her seriously.
Yeah, he sided with Jed the first time round. I do wonder. I'm trying to think what I did differently with Ducky this time, and I think the only thing I can note that I did differently was finding him in the bar at the festival when he was sad and bonding with him there. And showing him that I am someone that cares about the community, I think is the big difference. I know from finishing this, literally every character in this room, including like Ryan, one of the romance interests, Steph, the other romance interest, can choose to not believe you, depending on how you've done things.
Ducky, you're being unhelpful. Alex, sweetheart. You know our mind can play tricks on us. None of it is your fault. It's so hard to admit you need help. But it's always better in the end. We're all worried about you. Let us help you.
So Eleanor supported me in my playthrough, and I think the difference is that in my playthrough I told her, you know, when she forgot that Gabe was dead, I just out and out told her, I was like, Gabe has died. And her dialogue there was, in this scene, was very, I know that Alex is an honest person, that she is someone who will not shy away from the truth even when it's painful, that she has a good, honest heart, and as a result, one sec. She really appreciates your honesty. And I think the reason why she's not on our side here is because we didn't give her that same level of honesty. We didn't demonstrate our honesty to her. That we were going to be truthful and upfront about stuff. Like, we actively lied to her, you know, to the chat just made the decision to spare her feelings, or at least in the short term spare her feelings, but we were willing to cover up something that she needed to know, and that reflects how she feels.
Don't worry, Alex. I got this.
Oh, come on, please. Please tell me you're in here for the save.
USB stick full of recordings.
Yes.
Thank
We
you for
went
not
through this
being the
yesterday.
worst cop in
Your
existence.
superiors closed the case. None of us have time for conspiracies.
Yeah. You're trying to weasel your way out of things again, huh? I know your game. I know
Don't
how you...
test me, Jason.
You know what? I'm not scared of you anymore. And not of you, not Typhon.
All right, that's enough.
I'm so glad he let us go and we talked him into this. I really hope Ryan believes us. Ryan's gonna be... I don't know what the yes or no triggers for Ryan are, and it's gonna really break my heart if he doesn't believe us. I mean, Hardband, I think it's less that he's the one good cop. I think it's that he's willing to throw his cop career away to do the right thing. Because, like, this is the conversation we had with him when we had the evidence, is he was like, I will lose my job if I do this. And he's deciding to do it. He's deciding to not be a cop anymore because the more important thing is to tell the truth about this. Chat, what do you reckon we say? Do we say 1 for you believe me or 2 for I'm sorry? Type it in the chat.
I'm not your lapdog anymore. I know the difference between right and wrong. You haven't seen what I'm capable of.
Right. Lots for 2, yeah. XBB, it's a risk he's taking. He's broken protocol by not arresting someone for stolen evidence and...
I'm sorry, Alex.
Wait. Oh god! What if... we're about to get loud audio. And a bright flash. Please tell me...
Come clean.
Okay, he does believe us, thank God.
We'll figure it out together.
It amazes me. The extent to which she has manipulated you.
Come on, Dad.
Never in a million years.
Come on. I hate seeing you do this.
I'm so glad he's on our side. For a second, I misunderstood what was happening, and I thought
My own goddamn son!
Stop.
Yeah, Jed is a real callous piece of shit. And I fucking love that. I love a real good piece of shit villain. Like, he's a fucking monstrous person, and I love it.
I know why you tried to kill me. It's not what you tell yourself. That you thought it was best for Haven. This was never about Haven at all, was it?
Yeah, I feel so bad for Ryan in this situation.
This was about you.
Also, this whole fucking...
I know it's easier. Not having to think about the men you buried. You want to look away and pretend the people you hurt aren't people. But I won't let you.
She's tuning into all the little micro
My father
changes in
worked
his
for me.
emotions
His name was John.
to know how to deal with them. What do we say about our father? He was a screw up, a victim. I'm gonna say he was a screw up. I'm gonna try and
He made
humanize
a lot
him.
of mistakes. He wasn't a good father. I think he came here trying to be better. But you killed him.
He didn't have a chance to be a better person because You
And then Gabe.
fucking killed him.
My big brother.
I'm gonna pick this one. I'm gonna go... He was building a family.
He was building a family here. Doing it his own way. Figuring it out as he went along. He was so nervous about it.
Yeah, the slight
so
color
excited.
changes are such a good choice.
And he brought me here to be part of that family. But he died. Because of you. And then there's me.
Yeah, Echo, this whole scene, this whole final
So
act
many
is so
years I
good.
just wanted to survive. To get through. They even changed me.
Alex is such a good character. I love
I
her.
started to think about the future.
Chat, what does Alex want? To help people, to play music, or to belong? I mean, playing music goes with the Steph romance a little bit. Belong is sense of community. Helping people is, I guess, what she's been doing this whole time. Okay, I'm gonna put a vote in for belong for chat. But we'll see what everyone else voted for. Yeah, 60%. I voted for wanting to play music because I wanted to be like, I have a plan for the future, I have ambitions, and you tried to take them
I
from
want to
me.
know that there's a place and a group of people who wouldn't be the same without me. I was starting to feel that here.
I mean, help
And you tried
makes
to
sense
murder
as
me.
well.
You would have ended my life just so you wouldn't have to face the truth.
And I mean, I think he didn't really want to kill her. I think the pulling away, the fact that he only grazed her is he pulled away at the last second. He didn't want to do it. He felt cornered. He felt cornered because he's decades down a lie.
Haven't you? You've plastered over it with another story.
He's told himself the lie so many times that he believes his own bullshit.
You tell yourself you're a hero. A strong leader. Sometimes that means making hard choices. Decisions that could lead to people dying. Few men could handle that.
Well, I mean, he did the shot and then she fell down the
Haven's
pit.
lucky to have you.
I like to think that he was having second thoughts and tried to pull the gun
that's
away
the
and
lie.
fucked up.
If you scrape it away, what do we see?
I love that everyone else in this scene, in this room, has just shut the fuck up, because it's very clear this is not anyone else's moment to intervene. I don't want to go with you're a pawn. Let's go 1 for you're a coward, 2 for you're selfish. Okay, we're getting votes for coward. Cool. You're a coward.
11 years ago, you led a group of men to their deaths. And you couldn't even say those words out loud. Because you're a coward. You couldn't imagine saying it to your wife. Saying it in front of your son.
I feel like his son
You were
taking
brave
our
enough to
side
go
really helps our
underground and
case.
look death in the eye. But you couldn't muster the courage to admit a mistake. I can feel you trying to pull away. Don't. The truth hurts. Sometimes it's so awful you think you're gonna break. But when you come out the other side, and you're whole and free and still alive, then you'll finally know how strong you really are.
Have we done enough?
See the truth about you.
Have we done enough? Let's find out.
You hate yourself. You hate what you did in the past. You hate what you've done to keep it secret.
I mean...
And the more you deny that hatred,
the question is whether he'll own
the
up
worse
to it.
it grows.
Because ideally we want him to admit what he's done. We've got evidence against the mining company. We've got evidence against a lot of people.
I've seen a worse.
We don't directly have evidence about Jed. Do we forgive him or do we condemn him? XBB, I kind of agree with your sentiment in that saying I forgive you, whether you mean it or not, might convince him to own up. It might be the emotional push he needs, even if he doesn't deserve forgiveness. So I said condemn in my in my own playthrough.
And I forgive you.
I don't know how much of an impact it has on his response, but... because what you need is a confession. You need him to confess, and right now, whatever you say that gets him to confess is in some ways maybe the right call. As cathartic as telling him, no, I condemn you would be in that moment, it's tough to know. Yeah, that sure seems like the face of someone who probably is gonna admit to what he's done. You would imagine.
And the news is still coming in on the Typhon mining scandal that has rocked the western slope town of Haven Springs, where a council meeting was the scene for shocking revelations. Local bar owner and council president Jed Lucan admitted in a tearful
okay, he did admit.
covering up the deaths of 7 Typhon employees as their manager 12 years ago. A recent cover-up, which involved the
Abby, thank you so much for the nearly 2 months of sub.
caused the death of Haven local Gabe Chen last month. Mr. Lucan is currently in police custody, awaiting arraignment.
Okay.
We have plenty more about this developing story, including the resignation of Typhon CEO, the market impact, and what it all means for your drive time commute, coming right.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, the silence is worse. I need to get some
we
air.
we didn't get arrested for stealing the USB stick, and we got some measure of justice.
After summoning all my strength and willpower, I'm now ready to move from the bed to the rooftop.
I mean, one second. There we go. I don't know whether he admitted to the attempted murder of Alex, but also I feel like I get the impression Alex wouldn't be too bothered about that. As long as, look, Jed is held responsible for the deaths that he caused years ago, and that Typhon is held responsible for Gabe's death, I think Alex will be happy. I don't think she's so fussed about her own... the death she was accused that she almost befell. I think she just wants justice for her brother and her dad, I think. Let's see, any good messages in here. Oh yeah, both Steph and Ryan in the group chat were worried when we didn't show up to the meeting in the morning. I think that's the main thing.
Hey, Steph. Alex, wait. Before you say anything, I have to get this out.
I think it's an opportunity to be gay,
Okay.
everyone. I think gay points are approaching.
What you did at the council meeting?
The Gurkha man, specifically the explosion that went on down in the mine was Typhon trying to cover up what Jed did. Because there was an inspection meant to be happening down there, they didn't want the negative press of, we aided in a cover-up of the deaths of multiple Typhon employees, because of a failure of one of our staff. They didn't want that negative press. They wanted to keep on mining the mountain without any interruption. So they made the explosion to cover up the evidence of Jed's mistake. They did the explosion that killed Gabe to cover up Jed's killing of the 7 miners, because they did not want to be held responsible for the deaths of 7 miners, so they thought it was better to kill one non-miner who was trespassing in a place where he wasn't supposed to be. That was an easier sell than explaining why there's the body, like, why there's evidence of 7 miners down here that, yeah. Mudkip Gal says, seems a bit late to do it 11 years late. The difference is that up until that point, no one had commissioned, an investigation of the mine. Like, they were just like, oh, it's fine, yeah, there's no oversight. And then suddenly the government's like, hey, we just want to do a routine inspection of the mine. And they're like, oh fuck, let's do an explosion and hide what we did.
It was the bravest thing I've ever seen. And it made me want to be brave too. So, here it goes. I want to be with you. I don't give a shit about playing music or seeing the world. I mean, I do, but only if it's with you. And if you'd rather stay here instead, then...
No, don't rip up the ticket to your
stay here
dreams.
too.
Don't rip up the ticket to your dreams.
You ripped your bus ticket.
I can get another one. Or not. It doesn't matter. Point is, I'm in. For whatever you want.
Oh, gays, homosexuals. Not homosexuals. One of them bisexual, but
You've
non-heterosexuals.
given me a lot to think about.
Well, good. That was the idea. You know where to find me. Good luck, Chen.
We gotta decide what to do with our future now. What are we gonna do with our future? Do we want to go traveling, making music with Steph? Do we want to stay here in this quiet little town and make a little home for ourselves? What do we want to do? What's the plan? Go and get a road trip, leave, town sucks.
Alright. Just tell me.
What?
My future. What to do?
God, I love having a conversation with yourself pretending
The
it's
night
with
of the
someone
Spring
else.
Fest, Steph made a strong push for leaving with her. Playing on the road. The excitement of the unknown.
Yeah, Bellabean, it's only Eleanor who didn't believe us, and I'm pretty certain it's because chat decided not to tell her that she'd forgotten Gabe had died, and as such we didn't have the opportunity to demonstrate our honesty and our trustworthiness to her. We covered something up because we didn't want to deal with reality, and that didn't sit well with her.
Of course. That was before all this shit went down. Come on. You're the know-it-all.
Like, I'm pretty sure, Charlotte wouldn't have believed us, or at least wouldn't have spoken up against Jed if we'd taken her anger away. Like, I think that's the consequence for taking her anger away. She doesn't stand up for you during the Jed meeting. If you don't take the cop's fear away, I assume he won't stand up for you. Ducky, you've got to go support him in the bar on the festival night and show him that you care. I don't know what makes Ryan not support you. Because I know Ryan cannot support you, and I don't know what the choice... Or Steph, for that matter. I don't know what the choice for either of them that gets them to not trust you.
You really think so?
Of course. You finally have a home, a job.
I succeeded, but I succeeded with a different mix of success.
Why would you give that up?
My first time.
That's true.
I had a few people who here, a few trust and not trust swapped in my own playthrough.
Then again, maybe leaving would be better.
What?
You're young, you suddenly have a little money, friends. And don't you think it's time to give this music thing a real shot? No, you should definitely leave.
Fuck off.
Give us a straight answer, Magical Gabe.
Stop it, Gabe. I don't need the mysterious spirit bullshit right now. I just need my big brother.
I'm sorry.
I know.
But here's something. It's 3 hours from now. A bus pulls away. You're not on it. And neither is Steph.
So, the game isn't clear about this. This isn't actually happening. This is Gabe just presenting a possible future you might select.
Life goes on.
I mean... Okay. Yeah, Ryan has believed me in every playthrough I've done, and I don't know what I did to make him. But yeah, Gabe's suggesting, hey, maybe we settle down together, we work in the music store, we run the radio station together.
Music snob finally pay off.
You have your little quiet town life. Yeah, XBB, I kind of wish...
Little by little, time does its thing.
I have the problem here that I have with the Bay versus Bay choice in the original Life is Strange, in that one of these is very clearly, one of these two options is given a lot more care, a lot more attention, a lot more incentive, a lot more encouragement. We don't get nearly this much, but then we don't get nearly this much of a glimpse into what it could mean to go on the road with Steph. Like, this is where a lot of the sales pitch is. And that's really disappointing. But, like, I will say, here's the thing. Up until all this cutscene, I was dead set on leaving with Steph. And I ultimately did. But, like, this made a really good sales pitch for what life with Steph could be here. But the problem is... The option is... The problem is more...
starts to feel less like a museum.
How do I put this?
And more like a home.
The problem is I don't want Steph to give up on her dreams, and her dream is to go traveling the country, and I don't want her to give up on her dreams for Alex. Like, that's where I ultimately...
Thoughts of Jed.
Ended up.
Of Typhon. Even of me. Begin to fade into the background.
Also, I felt like by the time I'd seen this, I'd seen the stay options, where I was like, I want to leave, because you've shown me what staying's like. I want to know what leaving's like. Was a little bit of where I was at. It's like, I've had people in the past that I have dated try and ultimatum me into, like, it's your dream career or it's me, and it's not a good position to be put in, and I wouldn't want Steph to feel like she had to give up her dream for Alex. Yeah. Oh yeah, Bellabean, you can stay on your own and Steph leaving is an option, but like, I don't like that option. It's going to be up to you ultimately, chat. I suspect you're going to get a vote on screen for that.
The
but...
rooftop is your stage. You perform every week to a small but adoring group of fans.
Like, this is a lovely...
Maybe while you play, you wonder what could have been. Performing for more people in more cities, sharing your music with the world.
Also, like, if I was Alex, I wouldn't want to stay here, because as lovely as everyone is, this town is just full of trauma. It's a town where both your dad and your brother were killed by the same company. Yeah, I think it's implying that potentially you might get married in the stay here ending.
But one day you look around and find that you have transformed this place just as much as it has transformed you.
But yeah, yeah.
And the most extraordinary thing of all is just how normal it feels. You don't question it, you don't doubt it, or wonder what might have been. It's your life. The life you fought so hard to have. And for the first time in a long time.
I think the hard sell here is because otherwise there'd be very little reason to pick this. It's like, hey, you might not have considered this, but like it could be great.
Thank you.
Don't mention it.
You really think I'll transform Haven?
Of course. You already have. With your gift, your music, just by being you. But Alex, that doesn't mean you have to stay.
See, this is what, again, brought me back to
do that
leaving.
anywhere you go.
You have the potential to do that anywhere you go. And that's what I really like, is the idea of like, hey, here's this painting of a really beautiful life you could have if you stay here. But you would have just that same beautiful life if you leave. Going out on the road doesn't mean you can't have this. And the Mudkip Gal, you've asked a couple of times. Chat will have the option to vote which option we do, and that will be the one we do. I'm not going to agree to do an answer, an ending, because you as an individual have asked, because that's not fair to everyone else. There will be a chat vote, and we will see what happens, and then if you want to see other endings, you can look them up on YouTube, probably. Yeah, you could always come back. Like, let's say if you went on the road and you were like, yeah, you could come back and settle down here later. Oh, you mean pull a YouTube video up of the ending and watch it on stream, I'm assuming.
I don't have any other home.
Well, you're assuming that chat won't vote for that ending anyway,
you didn't have any home before coming here. And look what happened.
I would usually say yes, but I have some sensitive work stuff up in browser at the moment, and it's going to be a faff to put YouTube up on screen
without...
without...
There's no telling what that version of your future might be.
It's going to be a faff because there's some work stuff.
Is the adventure.
But my apologies on that front.
So? What do you think?
Sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you were asking, would I pick a specific ending for you? But yeah, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay in Haven, or do you want to seek adventure? What do you reckon, chat? I believe this is going to be our last choice of the playthrough. Yeah, I like Gurkaman's point there. Alex is the thing in common with both endings, so whether she stays or goes, she's there and will make it awesome. Cool, I will put a vote in for chat for adventure. Yeah. The other one does sound lovely, but again, like, there's no reason you can't have that later. And who's to say that that ending wouldn't have a little bit of resentment in it for what could have been? Like, you can't guarantee that. Oh, there's licensed music playing here, which again is going to completely change the tone of this scene. Ryan, I feel so fucking bad for you. Yeah, they're gonna go play music under the ocean. Yay. Wiggly hat. I love this hat very much. This was a lovely birthday gift from Phoenix and Steph, and it's delightful, brings me many joy. I mean, I chose Salem in my own playthrough because I was like, spooky witch trials theme. Seems like Steph would really get on well with playing music in that setting. What's the option for Ryan? I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think for Ryan, you have to have a little communal life here. Like, I don't think you have I think you can drag Ryan on the road with you, but it's certainly not implied that that's something he wants. Yeah, you stay and get married, Steph gives you the record store. Cool, yeah. Fuck him up, babe. I like to picture that Steph is the opening act, and then Alex is like comes on after. Like, I like to think that the two of them I'll do a performance and I do a performance and we make a little double pair. Also, I really like I like the thought that Alex could use her emotion sensing abilities to play music really well. She could feel what's working, what's not for the crowd, and
Hello,
sort of adjust
everyone.
as she plays to,
I'm Alex Chen.
you know, keep them on the edge of their seat. You see what I mean, though? There's so little to this ending. And I'm not saying I wanted a lot for this ending. I wish there was just slightly more. Just a smidgen more. So, at some point in the future, I don't know when, there is a DLC about Steph coming out, and I'm very curious, like, is it a prequel? Is it a sequel? If it is, does it assume that you ended up with Alex or not? It's very soon, apparently, yeah. It's a prequel, cool. So yeah, we're gonna have more Life is Strange True Colors to play at some point. It's a prequel in the town, apparently, cool. But yeah, there you go, that's the main game of Life is Strange True Colors. I'm gonna find some time... Yeah, XBB, I did get the impression that maybe Steph was the preferred character, but I think, like, up until the point when you can lock in, both of them are pretty well fleshed out. The Gurkha Man, no, it didn't have the song True Colors. But yeah, I'm going to try and find time to play through Deltarune Chapter 2 on stream at some point in the next couple of days. This week is... My schedule is all over the place this week, so I can't guarantee when that's going to be. Also, does anyone know roughly how long Deltarune Chapter 2 is, so I can estimate how many streams, if multiple, I'm going to need for it? Okay, it's coming on the 30th. Oh, that's pretty soon. But yes, I will 100%, I will 100% be streaming the Steph DLC when it drops. There might be a slight delay while I get Deltarune done. But, yeah, let's get through this and get to the, get to the choices. We can see what choices we made. Yeah, I don't remember how long Chapter 1 was. Was it like 4 or 5 hours, maybe? Let me search how long to beat. How long to beat Deltarune Chapter 2? Let's see. Chapter 1 is like 3 to 3.5 hours, which is doable. Like, I could do that in a single stream, potentially, if Chapter 2 is of a similar length. Oh yeah, well, yeah, about 3.5 hours if you didn't do the Javel fight. Okay, Wavelength is a prequel about how Steph comes to Haven, Gabe getting in touch with her, and linking the story from the previous Life is Strange to this one, maybe. Okay, yeah, more than half of people stayed in Haven Springs, which I'm assuming a lot of that is accounted for by people that romanced Ryan and therefore had to stay. Yeah, I'm assuming that involves Ryan. I think this is overall, did Alex stay or go. Yeah, Alex... Okay, most people forgave Jed. That surprises me. I thought that was going to be a lot more down the middle or leaning towards denouncing. I denounced him in my first playthrough. Alex claimed she learned not to fear her emotions. About half of people said that. Very few people said she didn't learn anything in Haven. For most players, some members of the council stood with Alex. A mixed success is what most people get. 1 in 20 people had no members of the council supported Alex. And about 10% of people had every member of the council. If we'd made that one choice differently, we'd have had everyone. Alex wanted to belong somewhere in the future, wanting to help more people in the future. Very popular. Playing music in the future, very unpopular answer. We didn't sit on the bed because it would have just been a pretty music scene we didn't get to hear. Forgave Ryan for not believing her. Yeah, Alex forgave Ryan for not believing her. Alex wasn't ready to forgive Ryan for not believing her. Alex didn't see Ryan after the vote. Most people, only 1 in 3 people, had Ryan stand up for Alex during the vote. I don't know what we did to get that rare result. I don't think I went particularly out of my way to get that. I didn't see any big opportunities to fuck that up. Yeah, 70% of people, Ryan doesn't believe you. He sides with his dad. Charlotte sided with Alex is a pretty rare one. I think that's because... Yeah, so 1% of people is Charlotte believed Alex but couldn't help, which I think is you took away her anger. Like, she believed you. I'm assuming the whether she believes you or not is, did you do the side quest about whether to take the settlement? And if you did you tell her not to sign? Because if you either didn't do that conversation or you told her to sign, she probably would have gone, wait, why did you tell me to do that? And then go off and investigate. If you knew something was up, why did you tell me to do that? Or why didn't you support me? So we're in a pretty rare spot that we supported her and didn't take her hatred away. Eleanor offered to get Alex help. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's because we covered up Gabe's death. Pike sided with Alex is most people. Ducky is a lot closer. And again, I think that's because of the bar scene. Ginger Lion Dude, I'm assuming it's the fact we didn't say, hey, Gabe is dead, that we left her to find out another way, because in that conversation she talks about, where she does support you, she says something like, I know her to be honest and to be truthful and to be, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Ryan believed Alex during the vote, is a minimal percentage. Ryan and Alex yeah, maybe there's another way to get Ducky on board. I know that, I didn't get him on board the first time, and the only real thing I did different this time was the bar. But maybe there are other ways you can get him on board. Ryan and Alex don't get together. Most people. Yeah, most people like that gay shit. And there was a pretty even split between staying in Haven with Alex, leaving Haven together, or not ending up together. It's about a 3-way split. That's fascinating. The people that did stay with Ryan mostly... mostly stayed. Apparently there is a very small chance you can leave town with with Ryan. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. I know that Riley finds out. I know that Riley finds out that Eleanor has dementia if you don't tell Eleanor about Gabe's death. I mean, there's people saying that Ryan's boring. I really liked him. I found him endearing. I didn't go with him in either playthrough, but he's a big lovable doofus, and I kind of like him. But yeah, there we go. We did a Life is Strange. It was a strange life. Well, I'm going to finish up here for today. This has been absolutely lovely. I'm going to go do a raid over to the lovely Thema Sophie. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. I will stream when I have time this week because it's a bit of a mess. Bye.